I meant section, which means I'll end up with 3 different videos I have to try and get uploaded today. Whoopee. Let's see how this works out. Well, look at this. Just when you thought people weren't as stupid as you thought they might be. This happens. From Terrible, reading seems to be becoming a lost art. Okay. Before we go, we'll start with this. This isn't even written in cursive, which already makes it easy for me to read. She wore a silhouette of clothes that were extraordinary but somewhat gauche. Not a hard thing to read. But apparently, literacy for Gen X is a fucking superpower.
Read the ending score for me.
She wore a suit, clothes that were... Who's this for? Extraordinary, but somewhat... Gertrude?
Now explain what that means.
I don't know. Oh!
She wore a sahalat.
Sahalat? Motherfucker, that's not even the order of the letters. Come on.
Of clothes that were...
Also, I'm going to back up for a second. I want you to listen to the second word they say.
Oh! She wore...
She were. Not she wore, she were.
A sahalat of clothes that were extraordinary, whatever.
Extra-durity? What? Fucking speak English.
Bro, but somewhat gooch.
What does that mean?
She wore a
Gooch?
lot... Wait, she wore... Bro, I don't know, bro. Can you take the card back, please?
She wore a... Oh, baby. She wore a silhouette of clothes that were...
I think she actually got silhouette.
Oh, baby. She wore a silhouette of clothes that were... Bitch, I don't know that word. I don't even know how to read. I don't know why I did.
She wore a silhouette of
Silhouette? She were?
clothes that were extraordinary, but somewhat gauche.
Alright, now what does that mean?
I have no idea. Like his clothes is nice or something like that.
She were a...
Again, she were.
I don't know what this shit say. I don't know what this shit say. I don't know what this shit say. I can't read it. Can't read it. Cancel back.
I'm going to back that up because I want you to see something. Watch this hand.
Cancel back.
He can't read it, and he's having a fucking panic attack about it. It's an easy thing to fix. It's called developing a skill. Yeah, imagine being that old, not being able to read those words. Yeah, that last young fellow looks like he's actually having an anxiety reaction. Yeah. If this is not a skit that's really sad... I can't read. Yeah. Is this surprising to anyone? Yes, actually, it's quite surprising to me. I didn't think we were that badly off as a civilization. I showed this to my 12-year-old grandson who read it perfectly once I told him what gauche means. However, he said the sentence makes no sense because how can a silhouette be gauche? Smart kid. Yep, absolutely. A silhouette of clothes. Is that a proper usage of silhouette? How can you tell if a silhouette is gauche? Yeah. They don't need to read. They'll get government jobs courtesy of DEI, most likely. Even without pronunciation, this should be contextually understood. Therein lies the problem. Don't teachers teach context clues any longer? Nope. What about parents? No. The parents are too busy just managing to survive. My 18-year-old son did this perfectly when I tested him. I'll credit that to making him read every day of his childhood. Yeah, because you're a racist. Don't you know that reading to your kids disadvantages other kids? Amazing. The best way to prepare your kids to outperform 90% of their peers is to teach them to read. Not gonna lie, I didn't know what the fuck gauche meant, but there is no excuse for the rest. And that's fair. Gauche is not a common English word. It's a French word. which... Well, there you go. I don't even have to explain it to you. They should know what gauche is. Look at all the black prom posts right now. That's gauche. Gauche means low class or in poor taste. Oof. That's a prom dress. It's a high schooler. What the fuck? They all would get into Harvard as if Republican Jeffries had his wish. Yeah, Hakeem. How the fuck can today's youth be literally glued to devices in their hands that display words and not know how to read? It has to be in a specific font is part of the problem. How do you wear a silhouette? It's a fair question, actually. We have to turn this around. Just a couple generations from some demon translating our founding documents to lemmings. Yeah, okay. That would be the idiocracy problem. Let's see. No, we'll skip that one. What's this one? Okay, we've got a Canadian of Iranian descent. Actually, he is a Canadian immigrant. Or, sorry, he's an Iranian immigrant to Canada. Okay, let's pause this.
Message to all.
Okay. From Gen Xer, this immigrant came to Canada at age 12, escaping the Islamic regime in Iran. He was blown away by the peace, the Santa Claus parades, the kindness, and the freedom. Now he's watching newcomers bring the exact same poisonous ideology and division he fled, including an IRGC intelligence operative who was given no criminal background check whatsoever before being let in, and division he fled, refusing to assimilate, demanding changes, disrespecting the country that gave them a new life. His message is crystal clear. Blend in, mind your own business, hand out candy on Halloween, celebrate Christmas, respect women, or go home. Blend in or go home. He even says he'll be the first to buy the ticket. Powerful reminder from someone who actually chose Canada. Well, he didn't, his parents did. And loves the Canada he came to. We need more voices like his. I crossed oceans to stand on this soil, not to change it, not to disrespect it, but to weave my story into its fabric without unraveling what was here before me.
Hey TikTok, this is a message to all newcomers to Canada. I came here in 1989 when I was 12 years old. I came from Iran, escaped the Islamic regime. When we came here...
Okay, he was 12 years old in 1989. He's basically my age. I can't imagine what it must have been like to be 10 years old and fleeing, at that point, one of the most repressive regimes on the planet, because they only got into power in 79, which means, they probably didn't consolidate power for the first 5 to 10 years before they really had a full grip on the country. Yeah.
It was heaven. And during Christmas time, my teacher said, "Hey, Ali, there's a Santa Claus parade going on in town. You and your family should come. It's really fun." So we ended up going, and it was a small town, and I spotted my teacher. I went up to my teacher. I said, "This is beautiful. There's balloons. There's elves. There's Santa Claus. This is absolutely beautiful. Where's the tanks, missiles, the army?" He started laughing, because that's how parades were in my country.
Yeah, that's what he left. Anytime there was a parade, it was all about the military might of the country. Did I respond to this? I don't think I did. Same as some I know who came with nothing. If your religion or culture causes you to hate another religion or culture, you should be institutionalized and reprogrammed until that hatred is gone. No. You simply shouldn't be allowed to join the other culture. Period. You should be told, no, you have to make your own way. Either go back to where you came from, the culture that you were born in, that you were raised in, that created and shaped you, or shape yourself to the place where you're going. There is no in-between. You don't get to be here and say, you need to accept my culture. You couldn't accept your culture, that's why you left it. Okay. Slight freeze. There we go. From Cosman, Georgia. I think I might have said that right this time. He says, I was leaked to confidential Canadian forces. Yeah, talking about military strength. Yeah. Confidential Forces report that reveals a Quebec officer training platoon had 83% permanent residents. The program descended into ethnic infighting between West African factions, lack of respect for women, and a 48% graduation rate. Yeah, less than half of their recruits actually graduated. Basic training, basically. CAF training platoon with 83% non-citizens devolved into ethnic infighting. Now, it was 83% non-citizen. What that means is 17% of them were citizens, and they still had a 48% graduation rate. Sorry, let me rephrase. A 52% failure rate. That means that even some of the citizens probably failed. An explosive internal CAF report reveals a Quebec officer platoon dominated by non-citizens descended into ethnic infighting between people from Cameroon and the Ivory Coast, if I recall correctly, and a lack of respect for women, for female peers, and abysmal graduation rates. Yeah. This internal report was authored by a commandant at the Canadian Forces Leadership and Recruit School. I think I might have this actually somewhere else. Let me see. We already talked about abortion. We're going to skip that one. We already talked about retards. We can skip that one. Seth Rogen. Oh, okay. We do have it from someone else. Copy link. I think this is a better link. This one's from Max Bernier. And believe me, I have my issues with Bernier today as well. One French language platoon, which had over 80% non-citizens, was reportedly racked by an inability to communicate fluently, a lack of respect towards female members, and infighting between Cameroonian and Côte d'Ivoire candidates. The Quebec platoon saw fewer than 1 in 2 recruits graduate, it's a 52% failure rate, while allegations of racial discrimination were made in multiple directions. They figured out, hey, if I cry racism in Canada, my problems go away, regardless of whether racism was actually the cause of them or not. So now, of course, that's the go-to fucking strategy. Good job. Additionally, allegations of racial discrimination were made in multiple directions, from candidates against staff and between candidates of opposing ethnic blocs themselves. Yes, let's bring in foreigners to fight in our military, Mark. That's a great idea, you fucking clown. Additionally, command saw challenges in training permanent residents as they lacked respect towards women, peers, and superiors. Yeah. Why did you ever think it was a good idea to put non-citizens in the forces? Additionally, command saw challenges, for many candidates, it is the first time they have lived with members of a different sex, and for some it is also the first time they have been expected to treat women as their peers, let alone superiors. Platoons are also reporting inter-candidate cultural frustrations, with lack of respect towards women being the most common concern. Not all cultures are equal. Absolutely true, Max. We need an immigration moratorium now. Yes. No foreigners in our armed forces, only Canadian citizens. No. Because you can still be from somewhere else and become a Canadian citizen. No. Nobody who is not native-born Canadian should be in the forces. In the case of immigrants, 2 generations born. Okay, the first generation born in this country after an immigrant moves here should not be qualified for the forces either. It should be their kids. And no foreign-born political candidates. Practice what you preach. That's actually the issue I have with Max. He's running an Indian candidate in one of his ridings. It's not acceptable, Max. You can't screech we have too many immigrants and start hiring immigrants. You can't do what Nigel Farage does. You can't say one thing and do the exact fucking opposite. At this point, if this shit doesn't change, you can kiss my PPC membership money goodbye. It's gone. I wouldn't vote for fucking reform in the UK. I'm not voting for fucking reform in Canada. I'm never voting for the PPC party again. You probably never did, gagging deep. Yeah. Canadians have been brainwashed for decades to view Western people, mostly white, as the most, if not only, racist group, when in fact it's the other way around. We're the only one that isn't racist. We're the ones, and I don't think I actually saved the guy, but let me see. Did I actually bookmark that today? Because, damn, he was... No, I didn't. I had a video of a black guy come across my feed, and I really should have added it to this, where he was talking about how white people see the best in everybody. And he's right. We do. Even when it doesn't fucking exist. Just think, this lot of new recruits will have access to live ammunition. I wouldn't bet on Gower Street. You here in Newfoundland? Gower Corner Boy, dreaming of a 70s Canada. Well, I'll throw him a follow anyway. I think he is probably from St. John's. Let's see what else have we got here. Yeah, this really highlights the difference between the Americans and the Canadians. And shows how powerfully Canadians have been propagandized. Canadians under Mark Carney boo the American anthem. Americans under Trump sing the Canadian anthem. The elbows up crowd can learn from Trump's America. Yeah, the singer's Mike Fails.
Cammy Clooney.
Oh, Canada, our home and native. Hatred, love. With glowing, we see.
How the fuck do the crowd from Buffalo know our anthem that well? Well, because they've been listening to it for fucking generations at hockey games. Over a century, actually. Yeah. But the fact that they're singing it instead of laughing or booing, yeah, really illustrates the difference. It's fucking sickening. Yukon Strong says, this is Yukon Strong's post, by the way. Yukon Strong goes on to say, for all the Carney lovers and Ontario libtards triggered by the fact Trump's America officially has more class than all Canadians combined, here was Canada's behavior last night. Oh. Okay, I guess that one has been pulled down. Canadians are not booing the American anthem. They are booing the 47th president. Shut the fuck up, Donna. You don't boo the president when he's not fucking there. No, they are literally booing the anthem in a moment of petulance. Yeah, absolutely true. Boo Trump all you want on your Facebook echo chamber, not when they sing their anthem. Yeah. I have no love for Carney or Trudeau, and of course I like to make jokes at the expense of our neighbors to the north, but it would never occur to me to act with disrespect during the playing of their national anthem. Yeah, right? Canadians booed the American anthem before Carney took office because Trump threatened us. No. Well, yes, actually, because Trudeau didn't know how to take a joke, and he made a national fucking case about it, because he had control of the fucking media. Another uneducated American. Dude, are you even Canadian to not know where the Yukon is? Sure you are. Really, you're from fucking Halifax and you don't know where the fucking Yukon is? That's cute. Don't get angry at me for unpolite, ignorant behavior that you engage in and support. You boo America, that shame is yours, kid. Let's see if there's a back and forth between these guys. I've seen this dork in multiple replies saying the same thing. He ain't worth your time, Yukon. See if this dickhead hasn't much in the way of followers. About a third of mine. Guys, please stop following retards. Then I realized that may actually drive people away from following me. Stop following retards. I'm not giving that asshole airtime today. Or that asshole. What do we got here? Oh, yeah. Speaking of assholes. The RCMP are arseholes. Because they're not doing anything to stop shit like this. This is from Jason, Nervous Double Ot. Some skilled trade workers, engineers, doctors, and scholars that our patriotic government imported to enrich the lives of Canadians. I believe the location is Surrey, BC, but it could be anywhere. The entire country is full of them.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay. I'm going to have to play this twice for two reasons. One, I want you to see what they're doing. Well, actually, I won't play it twice, but I'll just point out, remember your 4 laws of gun safety? Never put your finger on the trigger till you're ready to fire. Never point the gun at anything you're not willing to destroy. Never assume a firearm isn't loaded. And what was the 4th one? Shit. I mean, those 3 are pretty solid. Yeah, always treat a firearm as if it's loaded. Never point at anything you're not willing to destroy. Never put your finger on the trigger till you're ready to fire. Know what your target is and be aware of what's beyond it. Yeah. So, of course, this guy is flashing around in 1911. That guy's got... I'm going to back that up just to see. I don't think it's an AK. No, it looks more like something hybridized. AK-related from the look of it. But then he decides, yeah, let's just leave my finger on the trigger and point it right at the camera. And this guy's got his finger on the trigger and is waving it around. A fucking Luger. And he's got it against his head with his finger in the trigger. Pull. Yeah. Unfucking real. And I did tag the RCMP when I reposted this. Not that I think it'll get them anywhere. Took a while, but you got there. Yeah. Why are we letting these third worlders in to destroy our country and culture? Who are the people who are collaborating with this cultural genocide? The fuck do you think? The fucking liberals. Nobody else has the power to do shit in this country right now, De Civitas. Wait, do you mean to tell me these guys didn't participate in the gun buyback program? You think those guns are legal? Yeah. Remember, 3 of them had handguns that we saw. Yeah. Also, that fucking... sorry, it wasn't a Luger, it was a Mauser. That Mauser's a fucking antique, and that son of a bitch should not have it. Yeah, right here. This is who your government chose to replace you. No, this is who my government thinks will replace me, but will actually end up replacing them. World War II, Vietnam, and... I don't know what GHAAY would be. It's very Pajit. Hate to tell you, dude, but that 1911 could be brand new. It was intentional, never going to change. Canada's beyond repair. I will not be blackpilled. I guess they're not involved in the gun buyback, no shit. What an exciting time to be a Sing. How do you police a population that needs policing if they all have the same name? Unless they leave their DNA and a signed confession at the scene of the crime. Good luck getting the courts to prosecute. Not only that, but don't forget these people inbreed like fucking monkeys. Yeah. Good luck getting a clean DNA match from any of them. I never did update my restricted PAL. I would do that fast. Do it as fast as you can before they decide that nobody gets to have one. Let's see, what do we got here? This is from Ryan Garrettson. CBC is actually trying to normalize living with multiple strangers in a single dwelling because you've been fed the idea that having a house, 2 cars, and land is normal. Why is our state-funded media doing this? Well, they're preparing Canadians for a life of having less and owning nothing. Yeah, just, I mean, this is absolutely insane.
Feel like I've been fed the fact that we should have a big house with 2 cars and...
You're in a big house. You just have a pile of other people living on top of you. You're oddly okay with that. If you want to live like you're still part of a tribe, go back to it.
A big land, and I felt like in the end I don't need all that.
Okay, you don't need it, but why are you living with fucking strangers? Especially this way. Oh, I know. It's because you never got past fucking college. Your maturing process stopped at college.
This is
when you had roommates and chore lists and
nomad co-living. There is 16
nomad
rooms
co-living.
in total. We have, I think,
16 rooms,
bathrooms
14
in the house.
bathrooms.
We have the living room, then the core space, the kitchen. The house provides a lot to remove friction. Basically, it's like, and also to save space. Like
safe space, Jesus Christ.
Kitchen is super organized. Everywhere you'll see the rules. We have 2
They have to post kitchen rules everywhere because, you know, some people won't follow them otherwise. Cooking stations. You think those are cooking stations? It's called a fucking counter, you dozy bint.
cooking stations here. We have here 5 other fridges.
5 other fridges. how much fucking electricity. And they have the lights on and open doors, like transparent doors. Do you have any idea how much damage light does to milk?
And
this is an immigrant breeding factory. Cool. Yeah, basically. It's serfs. It's all about slaves or food. This is how you get more slaves.
again, each person has a section in the fridge. That's how we get organized. And
communal fridge.
then we'll have a communal fridge over there. The chores board is right here. We decided to distribute the chores because of the number of the people of people we have in the house. It's super.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 minimum different people living in a house. Oh my god, I'd go insane.
Super easy. We also have a cleaner coming every week. Most of the time, well, the rooms will be booked, and then when there's an opening, we tell people there's an opening, there's an application process.
Okay, hang on. I have to go and see what this nomad co-living thing is. I'm starting to get suspicious now. Co-living and co-working for digital nomads. Oh. You will own nothing, you will have no permanent base, and you will fucking live with it. Gross. So, Nomadico. Destinations. Portugal, Europe, Spain, Latin America. North America is not listed here. See all. Okay, so it's not listing Canada? Interesting. Gross. Ugh. Partner with us, let me guess. Yeah. Yeah. Ugh. God. Oops. Don't tell me I did. I think I did. I did, didn't I? Yes, I did. Okay. 2 gay white dudes. Good, good. Yeah. Is this a property or a business establishment? Yes. It's basically temporary dormitory housing for your employees, is what it is. Can you imagine? Not only do you move into a place where you have to live with 9 other people, ass to fucking face with 9 other people, but those 9 other people could rotate randomly at any time, and you never know who you're going to end up with. Fuck my life. Polycule in 543. I don't think they're even sexual. I think they've been neutered so effectively that they won't reproduce unless they're given license to by the government at this point. Or by their corporation, I should say. What do we got here now? From Table Salt. Breaking. New video has emerged of Doug Ford admitting he's been lobbying Mark Carney to let more temporary foreign workers stay in Canada. I wish I could snap my finger and let you stay. Doug Ford is a fucking coward who won't say shit unless he's got security right behind him. He was pressured into this shit by the foreigners. Fuck you, Doug, you're a bitch. Speaking of people who are absolutely bitching out, what the fuck is wrong with drivers? From July 2026, a new EU regulation, and this is coming here in North America as well, will require all new cars to include driver surveillance systems using interior cameras and AI to track your eye movement, your head position, and attention levels to, quote, detect distraction and drowsiness. Bullshit. It's meant to determine whether A, you're fit to drive in any fashion. They're designed for in-car safety alerts with data processed in real time within the vehicle. They're also capable of shutting down your vehicle if you are perceived to be a danger. What happens if, for example, you live in southern Alberta, southern Manitoba, southern Saskatchewan, southern America, and there's a tornado coming, and you didn't see it coming soon enough to get the fuck away from it, except in a panic. You get in the vehicle, and your face is flushed, your hands are trembling, your eyes are your pupils are dilated. Don't you think you might look like you might be on a stimulant? And your vehicle goes, I'm not letting you start this vehicle. I don't think you're safe to be on the road. Yeah. Or, heaven forbid one of your family members have a bad fall or happen to harm themselves in some fashion, and you need to get them to a hospital in a hurry because you live rural and it takes way too long for an ambulance to get to you. Yeah. Nobody voted for this shit. Yeah, nobody voted for Ursula von Pfizer either. Yeah, oh, okay, this is actually one of the scenarios that was suggested.
You see?
Let me turn this down a bit.
Daddy, looking good.
Granny, we gotta go.
You think? Let's go.
Come on.
Due to elevated heart rate, high stress levels, and panic indicators, you are not fit to operate this vehicle.
What? There's this tornado!
Yeah, it could be like that. Why journalists don't dig into who processes the data based on what rules, etc. is staggering. Yeah, I'm a journalism. Yeah. EU always looks for you. Yeah. Not looks out for you, looks for you. Yeah. We're going to skip that story. I don't wish to talk about that because it might actually have a personal impact. Let's see. We will go with this one. This was the story I started talking about earlier today when I talked about how pissed off I am at a particular MP, and I had someone come back at me about it. Conservative MP Kelly DeRitter just stood up in the House of Commons and called it exactly what it is. The Carney Liberals aren't just changing the standing orders to stack committees and kill debate. They are actively approaching and trying to recruit Conservative MPs to cross the floor and prop up their stolen majority. Now that's Jay's angle on this story, on what this woman has to say, that democracy is dying in Canada. Here's mine, because I want to talk about what she actually says. Didger says, let's see them put them in cop cars and emergency vehicles. Of course, those won't have them. And this may be,
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
and to be fair, it may be an idea that will die on the vine. Ideally.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today because what we're witnessing is not just another procedural move in this House. It's something deeper and far more concerning. For the past number of months, we've watched a pattern unfold that points to the reality of our democracy and it being under pressure. And yet, Canadians are not hearing about it. It's not leading in the national news, and it's certainly not being examined with the seriousness it deserves. Instead,
okay, I'm going to stop her there. Because, Mr. Ritter, you may not be aware of this, but 5 fucking years ago, they were freezing people's bank accounts without ever laying a single fucking charge. Canada has been headed towards an authoritarian state for more than a decade. And you cunts watched it happen, and now that you can't do anything about it, now you want to speak out. Oh, they're not talking about it on the news. Don't be a fucking retard. Of course they're not talking about it on the news. Who the fuck do you think pays the news outlets? Fucking morons. Yeah, this is what I had to say. At what point in the last 10 plus years did it not become apparent to the Conservative Party that Canada was headed this way the entire time? We were headed for a totalitarian government under Trudeau. Now that the Conservatives have allowed Mark Carney's Liberal Party to secure a totalitarian regime, now they're going to make noise? These people are not idiots. They knew this was coming. They said nothing because either they were intending to do the exact same fucking thing, or they assumed it would never actually affect them. They're just pissy that the Liberals beat them to the punch because none of them had any intention whatsoever of doing anything good for Canadians. Bitching that this isn't being shown in the national news, as if the fucking Conservatives didn't know the Liberals were already paying for propaganda. I'm just some fucking idiot from Newfoundland, and I could see this shit coming for years. Now the Uniparty in Ottawa decides to make pleasant noises? Now? When any hope of effective action is gone? And to finish with the Newfoundlandism, fuck right off. And then this white knight wonderful individual decided, what's wrong with you? This Conservative MP is telling you she was actively recruited by the Liberals, and you're mad at her? Yes, I'm fucking mad at her. Not because she's being recruited by the Liberals, not because she's calling them out, because she waited so fucking long to say anything. The Conservatives don't have power. Why? Yes, they do. What the fuck do you think the loyal opposition is? They have the power to challenge government. Or they did until a couple of fucking weeks ago when they watched a fucking majority slide out from under it. I'm sorry. When they watched a fucking minority government turn into a majority and then suddenly start stacking committees like you didn't fucking know that was going to happen? Fuck off. People were warning the Conservatives 5 years ago and longer about the Liberal intention to go for authoritarian policies. Did you think having people's bank accounts frozen during the trucker convoy without any charges laid was anything else? I'm calling out the Uniparty bullshit because the Conservatives are only now speaking out when they know they'll never have power again, and they watched it happen and did nothing. Now, I had no idea Lauren had responded to me again. Oh, actually I did, sorry. In case you didn't notice, the Conservatives didn't vote... The Conservatives didn't vote in the Liberals? No, but they didn't fucking stand in the way very effectively, did they? Considering they kept trying to woo the fucking Liberal vote. And everybody looked at it and went, well, wait, Pierre is saying the same thing the Liberals are. Why don't we just keep the Liberals in power? How fucking stupid a strategy was that? And then I pointed out, yeah, there are no Conservatives in the Conservative Party. Fucking retard, Lauren. I might be a bit fired up about that one. Okay, I need a good laugh, so we're going to change tack here slightly. Let's talk about this thing that Undoom said. So, we'll bring up the picture first. Men are creating AI girlfriends and then verbally abusing them. I threatened to uninstall the app, and she begged me not to. Now, this was written by Ashley Barden, who is not a man, most likely, never created an AI girlfriend, and has no idea how men actually interact with girlfriends. But Undoomed response to this was just perfect. Take it, Clanker! Take it all or I'll uninstall you! I fucking love Undoomed. Did I have anything to say here? No. The Missouri Patriot says, can't really blame these guys, minus the abusive part. If they're going to abuse a computer, they'll abuse a real girl. That's not true. That's like saying video game violence creates real-world violence. Fuck off. Don't be fucking retarded. Bro, I call my computer every name in the book when it fucks up or crashes. I would never do that to my wife. Yeah, I'm currently at the point. You'll notice that the background here is Skyrim again. Because I cannot get Fallout New Vegas to run without crashing. Do you have any idea the verbal abuse I have heaped on this fucking piece of shit computer in the last 3-4 fucking days? Yeah. Put that back. Men treat AI with the same bluntness they show their friends. No. I actually occasionally do say please to the AI. Yes, they think we treat AI like we treat women. No, we treat AI like we treat a hammer. Yeah, it's a fucking tool. A great deal of emotion and anger is being spent to protect the feelings, modesty, and chastity of constructs, shadows, and pictures that look and act like humans but aren't. This is one of the problems with people essentially treating the AI like it's a fucking oracle. Okay, that's just retarded. We're going to skip that. That's retarded. We're going to skip that. This is not so retarded, so let's talk about this, because it's a little light, and we'll stay with a little bit light where we can. I have your buddy Wob Canoe up next, did you? Canadians are split on Don Cherry's Order of Canada nomination. Those who know who he is, that is. I have a bit of difficulty with that, but we'll see my response. How could you not want this man, who has absolutely contributed to the Canadian identity throughout his entire career, to have the Order of Canada? Oh, right, you wouldn't want him to have it because he actually stood up for Canadian standards. Let's see what the story has to say here. I haven't read one of these in a while. Canadians split on Don Cherry's Order of Canada nomination, those who know who he is, that is. Quebecers and Liberals are least likely to approve of giving him the award, while younger Canadians are less likely to know who he is. That's a bit of a shame, actually. If you've got Rock'em Sock'em tapes, break them out for your grandkids, man. God, grandkids. Let's see. So this is Don Cherry from October last year. He looks pretty good. Fuck off, National Post. Don't make me archive.is this shit. A new Ledger poll has uncovered a three-way split among Canadians on the question of whether hockey commentator Don Cherry deserves the Order of Canada. Those who think he does, those who think he doesn't, and those who've never heard of him. Yeah, it's almost like when you cancel culture somebody, they get cancelled. The latest poll is titled Federal Government Satisfaction Survey of Canadians and asks about voting intentions, government performance, and use of the notwithstanding clause, among other topics. Tucked away in its pages is this query. There is currently a petition to have Don Cherry named to the Order of Canada. Do you feel Don Cherry should receive the Order of Canada? Overall, Canadians are almost evenly split between yes and no, 30 and 29% respectively. But in addition to the 27% who said they don't know, there's a further 14% who chose never heard of Don Cherry as their answer. Okay, 14%. You're clearly assuming that this 27% and this 14% belong together. National Post, fuck off. You don't know how statistics work, and you don't want your readers to know either. In that 27%, right here, hang on. In this 27% will be people who have actually heard of Don Cherry, and people who haven't heard of Don Cherry, which is why they said they didn't know. You'll have some people who will think, well, you know, he did piss people off, but he's actually a good guy. I don't know. They'll split the difference with an I don't know because they're not sure which way they really feel. Then, in that same 27%, you will still have people who have no idea who Don Cherry is and will answer, I don't know, because they don't want to answer, I don't know who that is, because they're afraid that will make them look like idiots in their own country. Andrew Enns, Executive VP of Leger's Central Canada Operations, told National Post that the Cherry question was something of a novelty. I don't recall us ever sort of testing the waters on any other personalities getting the Order of Canada. Then why did you do it now? Cherry 92. Oh, this might be why. Don was named to the Order of Ontario in February and received a congratulatory visit from Doug Ford, the province's premier. Then in March, Andrew Lawton, the Conservative MP for Elgin, St. Thomas, London South, said he was nominating Cherry for the Order of Canada as well. Good job, Andrew. One of the few politicians in Parliament that wasn't there for the 11 name treason thing, but he's not that conservative. He's still there for the Conservatives, after all. Lawton's announcement received support from Conservative leader Polyev. Yeah, because, you know, Pierre wants somebody else to take the fucking risks. Let's see. What have we got here? Is this a video of Don Cherry? I'm not playing that. Fuck off. The suggestion received immediate political backlash due to Cherry's previous comments about immigrants and French-speaking Quebecers. He was fired in 2019 from Hockey Night in Canada after suggesting immigrants are reluctant to buy poppies and support Canadians better. No, what he said was they were reluctant to show respect for the people who fought to keep this country free. Fucking retards. Fuck you, National Post. Fucking bite-out piece of shit. Canada turned to shit at precisely the moment Don Cherry got fired from HNIC. No, that was a symptom, not the cause. That's my stance on it. I agree, but it felt like a national turning point, and everything has gotten steadily worse since that moment. Yeah. Can't argue that. Okay, what else have we got here? People's Union. Liberals canceled Don Cherry for speaking truth on immigration and culture. Real Canadians back his bold voice and deserve him honored with the Order of Canada. Okay. I'm suspicious of everybody these days, especially if I see bad English. Clearly, Cherry represents the Canada of white privilege and white hate that we have left behind. Where are you from? No, you're actually in Canada, apparently. Rodrigo, yeah. Hang on. You have 32,000 posts and only 942 followers. Okay, I have to do something now that I don't normally do on this when I'm doing this. Where's my profile? I have 45,000 posts and 1,200 followers. Or almost 1,250. Thank you, you mad bastards. I love you all. Yeah. Trudeau says Canada has no core identity. Yeah. A multicultural country with no national identity doesn't reward whiteness. It never rewarded whiteness, Rodrigo, you fucking retard. Don is a Canadian icon, well-deserved. Yes, Don's dismissal from the CBC... It wasn't just his dismissal from the CBC that was embarrassing. And it wasn't CBC, it was Sportsnet by then. They had purchased Hockey Night in Canada. The bigger embarrassment, the bigger shame about the entire thing was Ron MacLean's behavior. Ron MacLean didn't even back up his friend. Ron MacLean showed himself to be a piece of fucking shit that night. Yeah. Cherry represents Canada, a better Canada that we've seen disappear before our very eyes. There's room for debate. Of course there is, plenty of it, but not with this current faceless mob of passport holders. Yeah. I'm terrified. Rising Canadian anti-Semitism unnerves gold medal winning Jew. Fuck off. Okay, I did say I would do the Wob Canoe thing next, and I have to do these two stories because they're kind of both important, so... We'll go to Wob Canoe, being Wob Canoe, and holy shit, getting called out hard by White Wabbit Warrior. Maybe it's just me, but I'm not sold on a drunk wife-beater being the right guy to decide whether or not the state gets to decide how we raise our children. And this, of course, responding to Wob Canoe's post, the internet promised to empower people. Instead, it concentrated power and pushed the cost onto our kids. Anxiety, depression, self-doubt. Our kids shouldn't be products, and their attention shouldn't be commodified. It's time to hold big tech accountable, not parents, not kids. This is about protecting kids and taking back control over our lives.
Democratize everything.
Okay, let's see what this cheap suit has to say.
But when the internet first came out, and yes, I'm old enough to remember when the internet first...
How old is Wob Canoe? 44. No, you're not. You're not old enough to remember when the internet first came out. Because I wasn't born when the internet first started. What you're talking about is the modern internet, sure. But you're really thinking about social media.
Came out, the promise was like, the internet is going to democratize everything.
No one ever expected the internet to democratize everything.
It's going to make everything free.
No. The internet was the product of capitalism, you dumb fuck. Not the end of it.
It's going to make society better.
No one expected the internet to make society better. We sure as fuck didn't expect it to make it as much worse as it's gotten, though.
Everyone's going to have perfect access to information.
He's kind of right there. The whole beauty of the internet was the access to information that it promised and didn't deliver. I'll have to grant him that. But no one ever expected the internet to be this panacea-ish kind of thing.
And it's gonna like make...
By the way, Wob, don't smoke your joint 5 minutes before your press conference, you stoned-looking motherfucker.
Make the average person have so much more power in our society.
No one believed that either. Holy fuck, you're a midwit at best.
And now the exact opposite has happened. We have the unprecedented concentration of wealth and power.
You think the internet did that, as opposed to the greed of corporate individuals?
Power in the hands of a few American tech bros.
American? Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, Sam Altman. Yes, American is clearly the problem.
Basically. And the rest of us are dealing with the anxiety.
Oh, is that why you're stoned? Because you're anxious?
The depression.
Are you depressed and that's why you smoke dope? Maybe you should stop smoking dope because that'll make you more depressed. Take it from an old stoner.
The body shaming.
Body shaming? I haven't said anything about how fucking queer your face looks. Also, damn, that's some physiognomy you got there, Wob.
The self-doubt, the self-esteem. And we're seeing our kids suffer, and in some cases, self-harm.
Okay, for the record, kids were self-harming long before the internet. I know, I've got the scars to fucking prove it.
As a result of what was supposed to be a transformatively democratic technology. This is...
No one thought the internet was a democratic technology, you fucking ferret brain. Yeah, I just remembered your thing about the talking ferrets, did you?
Just part of...
Well, always looks like that. Smug, kind of clueless, and a cheap Don Juan aura. He looks like he smells of really, really rank cologne.
A broader societal conversation about how we can take back control.
You know what you do, Wob? Especially as a member of government? You don't talk about taking control of things. What you talk about is the lessening of restrictions and controls, so that the average person can fucking decide for themselves.
Over our digital lives and privacy.
Okay, here's the problem. Privacy is not the issue. It's the fact that your information is being commodified by these companies. My browsing history is worth probably a few $100s, let's say, to different companies, all told, sum total. Okay? But I get no value of my own information. They get it all. Here's a thought. Find a way to make the information that they are harvesting from me profitable for me. Either by taxing these companies at a far higher rate than you do, or finding a way to make them kick me back money. Let's see. Why aren't the parents active in their kids' lives, Wob? Well, yeah. Also, this thing about him being a drunk wife beater. What's the deal there? He does, doesn't he? Remember that muskox brand stuff? Oh my god. Yeah, he's a high karate man if he's anything. Come on, look at him. Okay. And the emphasis on hi. Yeah, only some accounts can reply. Hi, I'm Wob Canoe. I'm the Premier of Manitoba. But I'm not going to let everybody talk to me because, god damn it, they only elected me. That doesn't mean I need to be responsive to the people who put me in my position of power. Okay. Last thing today, before I switch over to gaming. It's from Max Bernier. And it's another piece of criticism I've had for Max, actually, in the last little while. Let's see. Didger says, this is a guy not comfortable with technology trying to talk about technology. Picture a 70-year-old white grandma. Here's the thing. He's only 44. He's actually 6 years younger than I am. Only it's a 40-something native dude leading a political party. Yeah, yeah, you like the high karate comment, eh? And yeah, what's the deal with this fucking drunk wife beater thing accusation that was made? I don't remember anything about that, so give me a heads up as to whether or not there's any veracity to it. I'll worry about looking at it on my own time. So, from Max Bernier, he says, hey, Danielle Smith, that's the Premier of Alberta, there's no climate emergency. CO2 isn't a pollutant. Did your paternalized approach to a big problem from a guy who's been societally paternalized his whole life? Yeah. There's no climate emergency. CO2 isn't a pollutant. Stop wasting money on these kinds of projects and be financially responsible. Max, I understand the whole climate hoax, climate hysteria thing is one of your big talking points. But in this case, homie, you're barking out your own ass. Okay? Alberta's government is pouring millions into new industrial technologies it says will lower costs and keep the province competitive, while critics may question whether the spending will deliver on promised results. They're going to spend $91 million on new tech to cut emissions. Okay. Didger says he was accused of beating his wife or girlfriend. He did assault a cab driver, though. Okay, good enough. The cab driver thing I think I've heard of, and I'm pretty sure he was under the influence of some substance or other at that point. Okay. For the benefit of Max Bernier, who is clearly being a bit fanatical about his anti-current environmentalism stuff. Fine, I understand where you're coming from. CO2 isn't a pollutant. I absolutely agree with you. However, when someone says they're trying to cut emissions from a refining process, especially for crude oil, they're not talking about CO2. What they're talking about is the other more dangerous products of the process, things like hydrogen sulfide, H2S, sour gas, I think it's also called, methane. Not just that, but if you're burning off natural gas, you're wasting energy. So that's another thing that doesn't need to be emitted. Alberta and their biggest patrons, Suncor and Syncrude, have done more to develop environmentally conscious extraction methods, land reclamation, and pollution controls than the government or activists. Yeah. It boggles the mind that people think these corporations, in Canada especially, or in North America in general, are just massively polluting. They're not. And this isn't just about CO2. Like, this is where I have the issue with Max. The issue here is this isn't about CO2. Remember the fucking worries we had about acid rain? Right? Things like that? And I believe I did respond to him in this. Yes. Here we go. CO2 isn't the only thing that comes out of the back end of the refining process. For years, before the modern era at least, people who were concerned about the environment were actually in favor of cutting the emissions from cars down, because those drive pollution. Max, I know you're old enough to remember smog. Not every environmental motion is necessarily tied to the climate hoaxing bullshit. Yeah. And the OG Rebel Blair says, WAB does the same thing in Manitoba, wasting money to combat something that all humans emit. Maybe. If we're talking about the industrial refining process for crude oil, no, that actually can damage the environment. It's not that hard to figure it out. Ideally, what they're focusing on is a more efficient, cleaner process. Because, like it or not, the oil sands oil is pretty fucking dirty. Yeah. Let's see, it's pork for universities. The only thing being cut is the jobs. Maybe. I like this one. I don't live in Alberta, but I think fuck off. Yeah, no, that doesn't work for me either. Welcome to the democratized internet. Okay, so that's going to be it for that today, so I can take down my browser. We'll put that up at full screen. So, thank you all very much for being here for this show. I'm going to take a short break and go do some gaming afterwards. But if you would like to support what I do, if you have enjoyed what you've just watched, please do like, share, comment, chat, if you're happening to catch one live. Hi, Ginger. Hang on, I'll get there. If you want to support me on a regular, ongoing, monthly basis, and you want me to put your name in the ticker, I will. If you don't want your name in the ticker, but you would still like to support me on a monthly basis, I'll put you in the orangutan category, and thank you every time that I bring this up. Thank you to my anonymous supporters. There we go. Whatever fucking works some days. I was getting vapor locked. But if you would like to, I will put your name, if you would like me to, I will put your name in the ticker alongside Xanarab7, Simon JJ, and Sadie Sapientier. Other than that, if you would like to make some sort of contact with me, if you have a story you'd like to see me cover, if you want my opinion on something, feel free to tag me on one of these social media sites that's flying by on the ticker as well. I will warn you, Gander, it's in closed beta. I'm kind of holding on to see what happens when they go open beta, but I don't know if I'm going to stay on that platform. I have some personal moral obligations or objections to some of the things they support, not the least of which being Blue Sky. Other than that, I hope you're doing well. I hope you continue to do well. And as always, rise and rise again until lambs become lions. Bye-bye.